So you mentioned that you went to Tasmania to write the album. You also would have gone there to record it because Matt's based in Tasmania. Were they the same trip? Were you actually writing and then going into the studio?
No, so I headed down. I released my second album in November 21. That was in the midst of COVID and the borders opening and Tamworth being delayed, et cetera, et cetera. And I fell in a bit of a hole for 6 months creatively. And then my partner at the time, well, wasn't quite my partner at the time, was encouraging me, go write, go write. And so I headed down to Tassie, and the idea was just to start writing. And that was in July of 22. And then I went back in February of 23 to do the recording.
Okay. So at the time you take those songs to Matt that you want to record, do they change further? Like you go in with this certain idea of what you're doing. Does he then, as your collaborator, look at them and say, well, actually, I think there are some things we can do here?
Not too much, actually. So Matt always has great advice in terms of production and instrumentation, and certainly we work together on a few tweaks in the songs in terms of chord progression and maybe losing a bridge here, or maybe introducing a different endings, and making sure that all the endings aren't necessarily the same, because you want to mix it up on the album. But the songs as they are were pretty much as I wrote them, yeah, I'm really proud of that. Although there's one co-write on there with Jeff Gibson, which I'm really proud of as well. But yeah, all the songs are mine as they were pretty much written.
Yeah. Should I also say I have a copy of it, which I didn't hold up at the start. And it is on your label, Heartland Music Australia, which is a label you established a little while ago. So how is it going running your own label?
It has been a learning experience. It was always intended to be certainly a label in name, but not necessarily more of a community. And I wanted to provide a platform and support a number of friends I have in the industry, such as Amber Ray Slade and Nathan Seeks, to release their music and help them navigate their way through the mire, which is releasing music on digital platforms these days. So I partnered up with Czech Label Services and Will Osland at the time, and really it was a community, and I wanted, and the primary reason was to have a sort of consistent artistic base from which to release my music. So there are labels out there in Australia, and they range from pop through to the more alternative Americana, which is probably where I sit in. And I wanted to find a number of artists who really put the song first, have lived a lot in their life as well, and so they're more mature artists, and have that, I guess, curate that artistic base from which I could launch my own music. And I think that's definitely worked.
I'm also interested in the idea of you having that base you've created for yourself and how it feeds into this new album, because I think this is a more vulnerable album for you than you've had in the past. And that vulnerability, I would theorize, comes from a place of actually feeling safe. Like you've created that safety for yourself. Yeah,
absolutely. And that probably does play out in the label, and probably more so just in safety in where I'm at in my personal life as well. And the second album was a lot about my travels between Australia and Texas and getting up to no good, and those, good fun stories as part of the way. But yeah, this one's it is. I know people say it, but it's definitely a personal album. All the music I write is personal, but this one's definitely deeper personal, and with lots of references to, I guess, probably falling in love, and also to my dog Shooter as well. So, and the landscapes that surround me, and those things I love. And country music is the matter of the road and the heart and of the country as well. And I hope I've weaved them together.
Yeah. So Shooter has a song that you wrote, Find You a Valley. I'm wondering what Shooter has brought to your life, because people who don't have dogs might think, oh, just a dog, but they're never just a dog.
Yeah, that's right. In the spirit of being truly vulnerable, I think Shooter, I guess, started to open my heart a little bit. So, I got Shooter later in life, and I've done lots with my life, and had lots of adventures and the like, and there's probably something missing slightly there, I'd have to say. And it's a bit vulnerable to even say and admit that. And he probably started to open and soften up my heart a little bit, and it was probably an avenue towards then finding home and feeling a little bit more settled in my life as well. So lots of adventures, but also probably the ability to know how to give more and to open up your heart a little bit more as well.
Does he make a good traveling companion?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first trip I took to Tassie in July 23 was the first time I'd gone on a road trip with a dog. And sounds trite, particularly for those that have kids and the like. And I've got a couple of step kids, but for me, it's like, oh my God, I'm traveling with a companion. I got to look after Shooter. You know, I got to stop and let him pee and stuff.
Yeah.
But to
So
be able to look in the back seat whilst I'm traveling and know that he's there, it filled my heart.
yeah.